Red, ladies in red, ladies in red, ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. See my voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the ladies in red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope you are all doing well. I'm buzzing to say I'm joined by the ladies again this evening. It feels like a while. There's a lot that's gone on. Obviously, I spoke to Mais recently, but Nat, I haven't got your take on a lot of things in terms of United, so I cannot wait to get into that. But yeah, as I say, a lot has gone on. I mean, there's only one place really where we can start tonight, girls, and Antony's here. Antony is here, and obviously he's not on the scale of Frankie de Jong, but we've been with Antony for a long time. So to finally get him at the club, I think is great, especially how he was pushing as well. But Nat, yeah, I'll take your thoughts on that firstly, and thanks so much for joining me again, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, I think it's a good signing. I think when he was first originally linked, when Ten Hag was first originally linked, his name was instantly sort of like, he'll come with him. There'll be no qualms about it. The only thing I'm a bit, how can you say about all these sort of last minute? I'm happy that he's come and stuff, but I just think it shows there's wasn't really a plan. Maybe that's how I sort of feel about these signings at the time, because we were linked with him and then we pulled out because it was too much money. Then we've ended up paying. I know they said initially it's like 80 million, but then it's going to go up to 120 or I didn't even catch the last offers they were rejecting, but. We always know in Man United we're going to have to pay more than what's normal, especially for big, talented players like this. And I suppose, we ended up getting Ronaldo for 80 million. I mean, we ended up selling Ronaldo like back then for 80 million, and we're talking about things. So you could say it's maybe good business if you see like Jack Grealish going for like 100 mil and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like he's like a top talent more than say that, like, if you get what I mean. So
yeah,
I'm excited. He's coming to the guy who knows how to get the best out of him, and I think this is going to be more the way that Ten Hag wants to play now with him in the team and on the wing or leading the line, however he wants to do it. I'm excited.
It gives us a bit of unpredictability as well, doesn't it? I think sometimes we can be a bit too predictable going forwards. We've said it for ages. We don't really see Sancho beat a man. Rashford obviously has been out for me. He's not really wanting to beat a man. It's been very much pass it backwards, pass it sideways. It's been very predictive. Whereas I think with him, he has got the capability to do something out of the ordinary, do something out of the blue. And some fans will get rattled by that. For me, personally, I love it. And obviously, I'll link into something else what happened this weekend. Not United linked, but he's a skilled player. He's a flair player. He's someone who's going to get you on the edge of the seat. And I think us as fans obviously love that kind of player, that kind of entertainer. And he wanted to come to United, which obviously is an extra bonus. I mean, Mais, are you happy with the Antony signing?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with the Antony signing. There's a couple of good factors. One, Ten Hag knows how to use him. He's managed him before. He knows how to be managed. Two, he wanted to be at the club, and there's nothing better than signing a player who wants to be at Manchester United. Three, I think he is a different kind of a winger, what we don't have at Manchester United, which you already have touched on, Soph. A lot of people have said, though, like, oh, he's far too much. Why are you paying this much for Antony? But I think a lot of people look at the price tag without looking at everything behind the reason why the price tag. I think, yes, we probably could have got him a little bit cheaper last month, but he had 4 or 5 years left on his Ajax deal. He was one of the most highly rated players at Ajax, plus Ajax has lost half the squad. 3, he's a Brazilian international. There's 4, he played in Champions League football. There's loads of factors playing into that, and I've always said this: why would someone let someone go for instance, 50 mil when they've got 5 years left? It doesn't make sense. They're gonna want to get the money's worth out of that contract. So I can see why the price is what it is, but I think it definitely was a panic buy just because they knew on how the fans are getting right now in terms of how impatient they're getting.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Dubravka's another one. I'm not going to miss him out. He's coming to United as well. A lot of United fans I've seen on Twitter, I've seen quite a few people moaning about that deal. And for me, like, he wanted to come to United. It's a situation. He's going to come to be number 2 to De Gea. He's Premier League proven. I think he's a decent keeper. Like, I'm not actually that I think, is it 5 million we'll buy him for at the end of the loan as well? If you want to, I don't think we're obliged to, but if we want to, so yeah, I'm not too frustrated. Obviously, I don't like the idea of it being the end in the window, Dubravka, and that's it. We know we need more, and it is seeming more that way, isn't it? That Dubravka is going to be the final signing. But yeah, I mean, Nat, what's your thoughts on him coming in as the backup keeper from Newcastle?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I see a lot of people are upset because of the Henderson thing, but I think I didn't really like Dean Henderson's interview, to be honest. You know, and I've not been on this channel since it's come out, but you know, I didn't really like what he said, kind of thing. So I think whatever is going to happen with him, of course, Dino is a great keeper. I think he's showing it, but he's gone now. We need to get someone in. It can't be Tom Heaton. No offense to Tom, but we need better than that. And yeah, he's going to challenge De Gea, and I feel like that's needed. I feel like as soon as like Lisandro Martinez started playing, Varane has got back, in. Maguire's dropped, and he's able to do that. As soon as sort of Rashford has come, maybe not back in form, but he's willing to push people. Whereas I don't think he could really put in Heaton in a way. He probably could have, but then you could say, that's risking it. Whereas now I feel like Dubravka, maybe, like you say, a bit more Premier League experience, a bit more maybe the way that Ten Hag wants to keep it. I don't know. So I feel like there is a chance maybe for if there are more mistakes, then he this guy will push him more, because I feel like you say, he wants to come, so he'll want to come. He knows he's going to be number 2, but he'll be thinking, I can get that number 1, I can beat Dave. And I feel like with Ten Hag, he will do that. He's not afraid to drop anyone, so that'll keep him De Gea on his toes a bit more.
Yeah, and I think we've seen in the past De Gea's made so many blunders and whatnot, and he's still kept his place. I'm hoping now under Ten Hag it's not going to be that way. Like, it is based on form, like he's proven he's not afraid to drop players. And with Dubravka there as a backup, maybe we'll see that kind of treatment with De Gea as well. Hopefully we don't, because hopefully De Gea is outstanding, of course, and he doesn't. But what I mean is he won't be afraid to make that kind of decision. So I'm not too fussed about it, to be fair. Just to let you know, I have got the Leeds-Everton game on and the Southampton and Chelsea game. So if there's any score, I think Chelsea might score. Sterling just scored. I will let you know. So it's 1-0 to Chelsea in that one. But we have got this Leicester game coming up. We have just mentioned we've got new faces coming in. Ten Hag's proven that he'll stick with a winning team, don't change it, obviously following that Liverpool one. But do you think this game now, especially with the fact we're playing again against Arsenal at the weekend, will we see some rotation? I mean, Mais, can you see the likes of Casemiro, for example, getting a start in this one?
Yeah, I think the only reason why Casemiro didn't start in the last game is because he only had 2 training sessions at Manchester United. Otherwise, I think if he had the same length of time training as Scott McTominay or Fred, he would have got in ahead of Scott, if you want me to be fairly honest. We definitely do need rotation, because we are playing every couple of games now. From now till October, we're playing every Thursday and Sunday, so we're going to need rotation regardless. And for me, I think Casemiro will be getting in. And another factor why I think he, as well as the rotation, Scott McTominay in 4 games has got 3 yellow cards. So if he gets 2 more yellow cards, he's going to get suspended. So we need to be extremely careful of what we do with Scott McTominay, because I think, not that he's disciplined, but what he's doing on the pitch in terms of his yellow cards, he needs to be a lot more careful. And we can't afford to lose midfielders whilst we're still quite short in that midfield department. So I would definitely start Casemiro based off them 2 reasons, not just ahead of. Apart from that, Casemiro was a world-class sign, and he should be playing.
Yeah, that was my thoughts. We said it, didn't we? He's that caliber player where you think he just comes straight in with the experience and obviously what he brings to this lineup. So, yeah, I think we will see Casemiro, and I'm excited by that as well. Antony, obviously, we don't fully know yet permits and whatnot, and obviously his fitness as well, because with Casemiro, he wanted to give him a few sessions to kind of embed himself. It might be that Antony's maybe on the bench for this one, and maybe gets introduced.
No, he won't be playing at all.
He won't be playing at all?
No, he won't.
Oh, gutted. I thought it was by tomorrow, so I'll miss out on that one. So Antony Sunday then maybe on the bench, but I don't think he'll come straight into starting, especially with these games in between that as well. But yeah, I think Casemiro, Nat, we haven't spoke about him yet. He's the only signing other than Antony in there where I thought, you know what, I was excited by it. We were linked to De Jong, and even though I think De Jong's a great player, Casemiro, for me, just in my mind, I was just buzzing for, because he's a player that I've always adored, really. He's a player I've always respected. Classy player as well. He's quite humble. don't hear much about him other than yes, he said down and he works, and I feel like his kind of work ethic and his attitude is perfect for what we're going for at United. So his age, obviously a lot of people are talking about that, but we've already spoke about how many players have come to the Premier League older than him. Right now I'm watching Thiago Silva, who's been class for Chelsea, let's be honest. So I'm not too concerned by that. Like, were you happy when you heard about this Casemiro news?
Yeah, I think I was happy as well because it went from Rabiot and Arnautovic to Casemiro, and you're just sort of like, are you okay? You know, you're all right, hon. What's going on? Like, you know, obviously not, you know, moaning, but what's going on? And I don't know how it went from that to that. You know, obviously, if Casemiro was available, you would have liked to had him in earlier, but he's here now, and like what Maisie says, I think he might play this one and Arsenal because I feel like, you know, he needs those minutes in his legs kind of thing. But just to sort of, then I think potentially he won't play like the, you know, when it's going to start going Sunday, Thursday. I don't think he'll start doing that, but I don't think he'll do the Thursdays. I think he'll do the Sunday ones more. But you know, eventually, we're going to need him in 4 competitions, and yeah, I think he's a world-class player. You know, just won the Champions League. All these people saying he's rubbish. It sort of makes me feel like what did I go then, or am I back?
You're back.
All right. It makes me feel like we're back, as in not just me, Man United, because everyone's slagging off our players. You know, the old, the this, the other. How can you say it? He's a class player. He just won the.
Yeah. She's gone. Well, he has just won the Champions League. And to be fair, like Nat says, that experience. You're back, Nat. You're here with us. She's nodding. Yeah. I don't know if she's doing right.
I don't know why it's putting off.
It's all right, mate. But yeah, Casemiro, he brings a lot of experience. He's obviously a winner as well. We mentioned the same about Ronaldo coming in. We also mentioned the same about Varane. And Varane's another player I wanted to touch on because Casemiro's obviously come in, and obviously Varane was buzzing about that. And Southampton have just scored, by the way. Lavia, I believe, so it's 1-1 in that game. You're all right, it's like, I feel like Jeff. Call me Jeff. Just sat here and I'll keep telling you the scores. But yeah, I think him coming into this lineup, he adds a lot more than just his ability as a football player. He brings his experience, he brings his leadership, he brings his knowledge, you know what I mean? Like, and his relationships with the likes of Varane. Do you think Varane now, because Varane, to be fair, started this season well with Martinez aside of him, but Casemiro, do you think that'll bring his game on even more? Might I'll ask you that one to start with.
I think when I've watched Real Madrid, you've seen that good link-up play between Varane and Casemiro, and that is a good thing. You need that kind of relationship with defenders and defensive midfielders to
we haven't had that, have we?
Hold on the pitch. We haven't had that since Michael Carrick. That's no disrespect to Matic because he's a brilliant defensive midfielder, but we still haven't had that properly since Michael Carrick. And knowing that, you've already known that Casemiro and Varane has got that relationship, they know how each other works. I think it's going to work very well at Manchester United, and we've already seen Martinez has a good relationship with Varane, so I think it's going to be a bit more quicker as well for Casemiro and Martinez to get that bit of a bonding, because you always say, like, some people may not have the relationships off the pitch, but on the pitch you see that relationship. We've known it before, like Berbatov didn't have some relationships in the Manchester United team, but on the pitch you could see that they did.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And Martinez and Varane, we mentioned it, they're celebrating after making clearances and stuff like that. You always see that in like Real Madrid defences and all the top teams, and you never saw it at United really. So seeing that like unit, which is something that I feel like we've lacked. And don't get me wrong, I still think we could do with a right back. Obviously, I'm not disputing that, but it just feels more of a unit that more than it has done for ages. And I think Varane and Martinez have got a real connection. But Nat, I haven't spoke to you about the butcher yet, Martinez. Obviously, had a lot of stick after the first few games. People slating his height and whatnot. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think he's definitely going to be a fan favourite. I love him.
I agree with what Alex has just said then. Everyone's just criticising him, criticising this, criticising that, criticising Ten Hag. And I just think the things that I've been reading recently, and like you said, his 2 man of the match performances, I mean, him against Liverpool just was amazing. Like, you know, that's when I think I saw us really click and really play the football that we wanted to play. And, you know, I'm just really impressed with all the players currently, but like Ten Hag is finally like getting the way he wants to play, and he's sort of saying like, this is how you got to play. And I think that running that they did against Brentford. That just, this is it, do or die. You either want to be at United or you don't. If you do this running, and apparently like Ten Hag was running beside them and all these kind of things, I just think it's just slowly showing, what happens when you back a manager, when you put your full faith in him. Because that's what I feel has happened. Like, he said something to them, be serious. Like, you either want to go and, aid Rabiot and all these kind of people, or we're going to go and get Casemiro, Antony, this, that. And like you say, we still want this. We're still looking at this and that, but it's all late in the day. And I don't know. It's not a coincidence, is it?
All that happened after the Jim Ratcliffe interest. Like, all of a sudden, we wanted Rabiot, Arnautovic. All of a sudden, Jim Ratcliffe wants to buy United. Oh, we're going to get Casemiro. Like, I don't think that's a coincidence, is it?
No. And I feel like this is like this is it now. Like, I think they're going to go soon. I really think, because there's so much money that needs to be put in. Look at like what we're just spending now. People are saying, look at them spending. They're not spending. They're using our money. So, but are they going to take less dividends? Of course they're not. So I think they're realising for where they, for what they want Man United, what Man United should be, they ain't got the money. They ain't got the pull. They ain't got they're not interested enough. And like there's already talk, half of them want out. You just need to get to Joel and the other one. And that's them all gone, So, like you say, whether it's whoever it is, they felt that pressure, and then now they're getting Casemiro, Antony, this, that, the other, and they're actually backing the manager. But I think with him, when you back him, even if it's just like, say, buying, backing him over a player, backing him, dropping Maguire, things like this, it's going to go a long way in the long term.
Everton have just scored. Gordon, I have just put in the chat. It doesn't mean Everton and 1, Gordon 0. Gordon obviously scored for Everton. Good finish, to be fair. But yeah, I think in terms of Glazers, I hope you're right, Nat. Of course, I hope you're right. And obviously, there's another protest on Sunday as well, before the Arsenal game, which is going to be louder and bigger. Because obviously, I know there's a lot of clips this week of like flags being taken down and stuff, and people having stuff taken off them, being restricted as to what they can protest in the ground. So yeah, I think they're obviously planning for a bigger and louder protest. And obviously, I'd advise, if you can get down to it, go and support it for sure. Vincent asked a good question actually. Will there be a Glazers out flag at the women's games? Do you think that?
Yeah, why not? Because for me, I think that it's the same. Like, I think this season they've put the most money that I've seen in transfers into them, by fees and stuff. But I still feel like, I was talking to Rich Laverty, a journalist, and he's saying Manchester United, they could spend so much more. They could be top of the, WSL. It's not hard, There's not a lot of money really in the women's game still. And Man United could clean up, but again, we're talking about 4th, 5th biggest budget. It's still big. It's still, got class players, Lucia Garcia, Maya Letizia, all these kind of players are coming in to Cara, but it's you could get even better than that. I've heard today Chelsea have bid $500,000. That's be a world record fee if this Grace Guerrero comes from PSG. And this is the thing, she's on a long contract. They've putting down big money, and that's nothing to United. But we're talking about the Glazers. They don't want to do that. They don't want to spend this kind of money. And like you say, we're talking $500,000, get one of the best players in the world, or it's just compared to like Antony. And obviously, it's going to be different. But we saw when they're under pressure, they put the money down. So I think they've put the money down this season because of the pressure of the way that Mark came in, the way Casey left, and they have to show we're committed to this women's team. But like I was saying, there's more than just the squad that needs to invest in men and women. It's the infrastructure, it's the stadiums, and that's not little money. That's like 200, 300 million, billion, and they don't want to spend that much. But yeah.
Talking of stadiums, did you see may as well ask you on this one, the Real Madrid concept? Well, basically released the footage of them building the plans for the new Real Madrid stadium, and it looks incredible. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. I saw it earlier on, and a lot of people obviously tagging Glazers out in that, because our stadium, compared to the top stadiums around the world, it used to be the best in the world. And we have to be honest, like, it's so far behind, isn't it? Like all the top stadiums now. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see us in that state, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. And that's why we're saying
nowhere near as bad if we kept on top of the paintwork. If we
painted it fully, didn't leave
Yeah,
Blocked
paint
out
it
of
fully. Like, got prevented the leaks. Like, you look at the seats. Like, I went to Man United's pre-season game at Old Trafford, the Old Trafford one. The seats were rusty. How much does it really take to clean rust off a metal? It's not that much compared to a whole new stadium. If they kept on top of the little things like that, just taking the care, loving it like it's your baby, because if that is they've obviously put that investment in to buy the club, which put us into debt. If they cared for it, loved it like it was the little baby, like they do with the NFL, whatever they do over there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look like it's a stadium what's far behind Camp Nou, what's far behind the Real Madrid stadium, and even at this moment in time, you could even question its Tottenham new stadium looks better than ours.
Well, that's the thing. We're not saying we want a new stadium. We're saying we just want renovation. We're saying we just want it to be modernised. You know what I mean? We're not saying, knock it down and rebuild it. We're not saying that. We all love Old Trafford. Of course we do. But it's just not modern. I think that's the word I'd use for it. It's just not modern at all, is it? Like, we haven't really moved with the times, and hopefully we can move with the times. But another thing I wanted to talk about.
Can I just say, so I think they're just relying on the fact that everyone loves Old Trafford and, we can't do it because of this and we can't do it because of that. Yeah, they're using excuses of, the railway, all this. Look at the way that Madrid stadium falls apart and all this. You're telling me there's not money? They can do everything. Yeah, they're just using, you love all, playing on your heartstrings, trying to push other agendas and not make you see the reality. Look at what that Madrid stadium does. You're telling me they can't modernise Old Trafford? Give up. They can do whatever they, like you said, what Maisie's saying, they just don't want to. They don't want to look after it. They just want to take.
Yeah, well, as long as they're still fetching money, they're not going to reach into the pockets and spend anything they don't have to, are they? Let's be honest about it. But we have obviously made some big signings. Antony, Dubravka, Casemiro, Malacia, Ericsson and Martinez. Out of 10, if that is our window dusted, out of 10, how would you two rate it? I may as well start with you on that one. Like, what would you grade our window at? Considering we knew what we needed going into it, how would you rate it? And in the chat, obviously, get involved with that as well.
In terms of the players we've got, magnificent, but I'm still going to give it a 7.5. We need a striker. We needed a right back. I've got tears in my fake eyelashes now because we never got a right back. We needed a midfielder to replace Paul Pogba. I know we've got Donny, but if Ten Hag hasn't even used Donny, so that is raising alarm bells. I know it's a couple of games in, but it's raising alarm bells to me. It really how people aren't questioning this, I do not know. He was played with the kids at pre-season. That's another alarm bell for me that perhaps maybe he isn't cut out for Manchester United. And as well, I just think the bench isn't strong enough to. If you looked at the Manchester United bench, I could look and go, this player. We've got 5 substitutes now. We need to have that squad depth, especially knowing we've got the Europa League 2 cup competitions and the outgoings as well. We should have really tried to get rid of some more outgoings instead of loan deals.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'll tell you mine in a minute, but Nat, how would you rank it out of 10?
I'm seeing people say 6. I've seen people say 4. I think 4 is a bit harsh, but 6.5.
We've got more than we have in most
7.
windows, so
yeah, I suppose. I'd say 6.5. I'm thinking 6.57. I think I think we've strengthened in areas that probably we should have. I feel like we got a new centre back. I think we needed that, and that now Maguire's dropped. We've got a CD at number 6 that we've been crying out for ages. But yeah, we need a striker now. Cavani went. We knew that. I know there's Ronaldo there, but I feel like what Maisie's saying. We are there's talk I've heard today that they rejected an offer for Wan-Bissaka, and I think he's not even really made any squads that I can think of. He's definitely not come on. So why aren't we selling him? Why are we keeping him? What we're keeping him for? And I get it. We need depth, but sell him and use it to buy. And you might have to then put more money. You might sell him for 10 million or even less. And the new one might be 20 million. But that's what you have to do. I just think we're not prepared to do that. I think, I think back to when Pep first came in City, they were selling them players, letting them go, writing their contracts off, losing money. And yeah, not every club can do that, but it's Man United. We can do that. We can sell someone and then, if we're talking about like 10 million, it's not a lot to us. We've seen that they've gone into their second, third lever, being able to get all this Antony and all that. So that the money is there. And like you say, I'd rather have some money come in, because the more you wind down the contracts, the less money you're going to get. So I don't understand when someone's looking for Wan-Bissaka, he's not getting anywhere. Like you say, Donny, get rid. I'm not like, I want them to do well. I like Wan-Bissaka, and obviously going forward, he's not the best, but defensively, I do actually think he's quite good. But if you're not playing him and he's not in your plans, get rid. Donny, not in your plans, get rid. Why are we keeping these players for what? For what do you think we're going to get out of it? If someone's offering you money, take the money. Try and get them for as much money as possible, but take the money.
Maybe we're hoping that teams panic on deadline day and throw a bit more cash at it. I don't know what it is, but I think with Wan-Bissaka in particular, I like Wan-Bissaka, and he's obviously our backup at the moment for Delo. Delo, obviously, we keep saying we need another right back, let's be honest, but obviously Delo is the preference for Ten Hag. But if you sell Wan-Bissaka, if it is that Dest is in Ten Hag's plans, he does see as him being a future right back for United, you know what I mean? He is in his plans, and I think we should definitely be looking at that deal, but we don't want to panic. We don't want to sell Wan-Bissaka and think, we need to get right back in quickly and just choose any. You know what I mean? I think that's the situation that we're in. But I agree with you, Nat. Why not get a bit of income for these players? Natty P said, we've got to be realistic. We can't sign a whole team in a window. Well, Nottingham Forest can. Nearly 2, to be fair. I can't believe how many signings they've made. 19, is it now? 19?
They're saying they're going to get more. They're saying they're going to go for more. That's what I'm saying. So this is Man United. But I just want to say just one thing, Soph. I know I've just cut you up, but I'm really sorry, but why haven't we got this planned? Why haven't we, when did Ten Hag come in? Why isn't it planned? I don't really like this. I know, you had to see him, but why is it not planned from the start, from when he first watched them versus Crystal Palace and they lost? Why can't it be planned? I think Ranić leaving was, I know some people didn't like him, but at least he had that knowledge and he could have worked together, and I just think just letting him go was, in my opinion, a mistake, because it has been a bit of a panic in the end, and I know selling him now it'd be even more of a panic, because then we would have to get it, but why isn't it planned that this kind of thing? He didn't really play a lot in pre-season, so why weren't you looking to sell him then and looking at it right? But I just think that scattergun.
I think a lot of our issues as well is the fact that we've got these players on such high wages and such ludicrous contracts, so it's getting rid of these certain players as well, isn't it? Well, Wan-Bissaka we paid 50 million for, 50 million. It seems crazy. But in terms of the market nowadays, it is crazy, isn't it? I mean, we mentioned Gibbs White's fee. Obviously, we just paid a lot for Antony. I know Chelsea have just bid, is it 90 million for Guardiola or something like that? Another centre-back. It's been crazy in this window. So it's not just us, let's be honest about it. I do think that is a lot of money for Antony, but it's also a player that we needed, and a player that Ten Hag obviously gets along with, so I'm all for it. But it has been a bit of a mad window, hasn't it, really, when you look at some of the moves, what have happened, and the prices as well. But Forest, that's absolutely baffled me, the amount of players that they've signed in one window. That's got to be a record, surely. 20 players? That's got to be a record.
I think the reason, though, why Forest has made so many signings is because they've lost a lot of players. They're all loans, the only place they only had 3 defenders in, and apart from that, they had no squad at all. Didn't even have a bench, because they either were loan players or they were players who left on a free. So they needed to bring all them players in. They needed to have that investment, because otherwise they would have gone straight back down if they didn't put that investment in. And I think they've done it quite smart, because you look at the guy from Atletico Madrid, getting him on a loan deal is brilliant. He's going to improve that squad massively. Even though Jesse Lingard has 200k a week, he's that experience that you want on a newly promoted side. Same with Dean.
It's only 1 year as well.
Yeah, exactly. They've got no lose at all.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I'm not knocking it, because I think if you look at the likes of Bournemouth and what's just happened as well with Parker, which was mad, by the way, I think that's a bit harsh on him getting sacked so early, but they didn't invest, not really ready for the Premier League. and you call them a yo-yo team, doesn't it? But it seems like they'll most likely go back down again. And obviously, Nottingham Forest, it's been a long time since they've been at the top, and they're aiming to stay there, and it's ambition from the club, and you can't knock that. You do fear if they don't stay up, what will happen in terms of the amount of money that they've sent. Like you mentioned, losing players, you imagine the world left, right, and centre. And Southampton are 2-1 up, getting Armstrong 2-1 to Southampton. Just to let you know, Rodrigo has gone off for Leeds, by the way. It looks like he dislocated his shoulder. He like he's in absolute agony, so that's a shame for them. Captain's gone off. I'm not sure who came on. I'll obviously have a look in a minute. But yeah, just keep you updated on the matches. But yeah, Chelsea are losing at half-time, 2-1. Nice. But we have obviously got to worry about Leicester on Thursday. Leicester, a bit of a hard one because a lot of people call Brendan Rodgers to get sacked first. Obviously, there's a lot of Tielemans, for example, Fofana. There's going to be players who they're going to be getting rid of, you think, before the end of the window. They haven't really invested. Again, like I don't know, Leicester fans I know have been very frustrated and concerned about them this season, especially after the form, because they just don't really look a shadow of the Leicester that we know. And Rodgers, like I say, he's under a lot of pressure, so we can't go into this complacent. But at the same time, it's going to be a different test for us because Leicester obviously are going to be hungry. They're going to be up for it because they haven't had the best start to the season. And I think they've gradually improved Leicester, you'd say, as each game has gone on. But obviously Manchester United at home is always a game that gets players up for it. And yeah, it's a dangerous game for us, isn't it, this one, Nat?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think there was a great atmosphere for Liverpool, but I don't want it to just be sort of Liverpool in the away days. I want it to be all the time, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. I want the players to be up for it no matter what. And that's what our problem was. We could turn up, you know, in these big games. It's about turning up week in, week out. And, you know, I think it's going to be pretty much, I know we're going to get into it, but pretty much similar. I think, you know, Casemiro will come in, maybe one or two others, but I don't know. But yeah, I think Leicester, like I've got a really good mate who watches Leicester, and yeah, they're just, I don't know if they're getting a new owner or something, I think I saw, or, you know, I just feel like they're sort of in a position where players want to leave. And I'm not saying, oh, you know, they can leave, they sign contracts and all this kind of stuff, but it mustn't be a great atmosphere maybe at the minute. Yeah. And, you know, they're trying to get as much money as possible, but then it's going to be really hard to then buy with it being so close to the end. So it's all a bit up in the air for them. I feel for them because I do like them. I like the stadium. I like the people. But yeah.
Yeah. They are bottom of the league, but let's be honest, it's 3 games in. This will be the 4th. Like, we were bottom of the league just before the Liverpool game, pretty much. So, and then we leapfrogged them in 1 game. Like, it's too early to call that, isn't it? They haven't had the best start, I will say that. And like I said, there's a lot of pressure on the manager, I think, Rodgers, because of the way they're playing as well. They just don't seem like the Leicester we know. But like I say, against United, especially against us at home, they always seem to be up for it. It always seems to be a mad game, and it always seems to be a frustrating one for us. So I think we need to show the same kind of resilience we did against Southampton. Let's be honest, at times they outplayed us. They really did. But what I think is last season we would have lost that game. We'd have buckled, and we didn't. Like I say about that unit at the back, I thought we defended really, really well. And we could have maybe made more of the counter-attack. I think that's where you question us on that counter-attack. Ronaldo had one when he could have played Rashford in, I think it was. And you know what I mean? We could have done better. And I think against Leicester, we will have to take those chances. So, yeah, I do worry about this game. But at the same time, I think we have to take confidence from, obviously, we've got 2 wins on a bounce. Then we've got a clean sheet in our last game as well. Antony's just come in. I do think Casemiro will come in and bring a bit more experience. Like I say, it's not an easy place to go to. So, yeah, if I tell you my lineup, and let me know, obviously, in the chat what your lineup is. And obviously, I'll come to the ladies as well, and you can chip in and tell me what you think. So, I've gone with De Gea in goal. Same back 4, so Delo, Martinez, Varane, Malacia. I know a lot of people might think that Maguire might come in and rotate because of Arsenal the weekend, but for me, I don't want to touch that unit at the minute. I think that it's worked. I don't really want to unsettle it. I think the more they play together, the more they familiarise, the stronger they get, especially Varane and Martinez. Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, then Sancho, Rashford, and I think he'll start Elanga again. I think that's a lineup I will go for. And obviously in the chat, let me know yours. Nat, what's your thoughts? Like, do you think Casemiro will come in like I say? Is there anything much different to what I've said?
Yeah. I think Casemiro, that would be the only one, really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe like, I don't even know. Maybe even, I don't even know if he's fit, but like Shaw or something. But even then, like what you were saying about the back 4, I wouldn't even be changing it. I think we need to be keeping it the same. It's not like we're at the point where you've got so many games, you know what I mean? When you're thinking, oh, next week and then in 2 days' time we got this. I think you can be at a point where you can play the same one, Leicester, and then play Arsenal after a certain point. And I do expect to see Maguire maybe back in for a couple of games. But I feel like we can pretty much play the same team. Like you said, we're back to back. He didn't really change it much. And I think a lot of people maybe expected Casemiro to come straight in. So I feel like he's I like that he's trusting the players, and I feel like they will take a lot from that, So, I could even see Scotty still playing. I know what you're saying about the Yellow Cup, but I feel like I just like the way he's doing it. I like the way I'm hearing positive things. I'm hearing, you're still hearing little rumours of, oh, this one's unhappy, but I think it's the ones that maybe are on the bench, which, you would be. But I'm just hearing like this is how he likes. He likes the structure. He likes, the players to know what to do. And I just feel like he's slowly seeing the style he wants to play. And I agree, the counter attack. And I feel like it's going to be tough. And then there might be times where Leicester are up.
Sorry, Nat, to cut across. Fulham are 1-0 up, and guess who scored? Mitrovic again. Yeah. Sorry, it just popped up on my screen. Mitrovic.
He's in my career. He's in my fantasy football. I am not going to complain.
Yeah, he's having a mad season. But yeah, Nat, I agree with you. Maybe rotate a slight, but I think with Maguire as well, we've got that Europa League game obviously next Thursday. I think that's the perfect kind of
when he'll play.
To give him. Yeah. Because obviously we want to win the Europa League this season. It's not like it's like a Mickey Mouse Cup. Like we want to win it. We want to get back into the Champions League. So I think players like him, maybe even Donny, Fred, I think that's the kind of game where we'll see them fringe players, if you like, getting a bit of game time. I think Ten Hag has to be intelligent and he has to rotate. Maybe the latter stage of the Europa League, he'll go with that lineup, with Martinez and Varane. But for now, I think that game on Thursday, I think is a nice one. In terms of Scott Parker, Doug, I think I felt sorry for him, to be honest with you. What I saw a lot of people bigging him up for this, but you see the Jurgen Klopp, I watched Match of the Day and he went up and put his arm around him. I thought that's the most patronising thing. Fair enough, do it behind closed doors, but on the side of the pitch, before the final whistle, Klopp went up to him and he put his arm around his shoulder and stuff, and I thought it was proper patronising. I know he's probably trying to be nice, but I just thought, if I was Parker, I'm 9-0 down. I don't know how I'd react to the opposition manager putting his arm on me like that. I don't think I'd take it nicely. But yeah, I felt sorry for him, to be fair, Doug. I think obviously the teams that have played, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, you've got to feel sorry for him. And after the lack of investment that he's had, I think the biggest thing was that fact that he spoke, didn't he, in his interview afterwards. And he said basically, I see him training week in, week out, I expected this, basically. Something along them lines, and obviously the players won't take nicely to that. And I think what it means is the lack of investment, but obviously it kind of just came out that he was saying the players weren't good enough. And but I felt sorry for him. I did feel sorry for him. I think he's been treated a bit harshly there. And yeah, that's all I can say on that. But yeah, Maze, what's your thoughts on that Leicester game? How would you line up? And I'm going to go through the ones in the chat now as well.
My lineup, I think we're going to remove that 4-2-3-1 formation. God, I hate that formation. If I couldn't, that formation, I just hate it. I just really hate the formation. But same goalkeeper, De Gea, same back four. I think we've only changed to a 4-3-3 because Casemiro will be starting. And that will be with Bruno and Eriksen up front now. I've heard Antony Martial is back, so I think he's coming in. And I think he will be playing as a striker. And if he does start, Rashford will be on the left and Sancho will be on the right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if Martial comes in, then they have to be the wingers either side. Elanga, I love him, but we have to be honest, he shouldn't be starting, should he, for United? Not right now. I think a loan would be good for him. He's got all the right attributes, and I love the kid because he works hard. He's normally one of the ones who start in the press. I like him, but I just think that end product, he's still a bit raw, isn't he? And I think a loan would be good for him. But it just highlights our squad depth, the fact that we have been relying on someone as young as Elanga to kind of, lead it on that side. And yeah, I like him, but I just think that Antony coming in, you imagine he'll strengthen us massively going forwards. But yeah, so we've got here De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Maguire coming in, Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Elanga, Ronaldo, Sancho. So Ronaldo coming in as well. What's your thoughts on Ronaldo, girls? Is he going or is he staying? Because I'll be honest, I don't check anymore. I'm just waiting to wake up and see on Sky Sports that he's gone. That's the point I'm at. May as well start with you on that one. What's your thoughts on the Ronaldo situation? There's only obviously a little bit of time left. Can you see him going before now?
At this point, I don't care. I really do not care. That's how I feel. If you want to go. Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo, what he's done for us in the past. Thank you, Cristiano Ronaldo. You don't want to be here, do one. That's all I've got to say about it. I really do. Because you just can't have a player at the club paying their wages. I'm out of Cristiano Ronaldo's. to just sit on the bench all season. There is no point at all. Free up that 400k a week if that's what he's on. Use it to get 2 decent players if we was to do that. I know we wouldn't, but I just think that I've always said this: don't keep a player if he doesn't want to be here. But what I think is a lot more silly from us is what I've heard is we're looking at doing a loan deal with Napoli where we're paying the full wages, and if that's the case, we're mucks for it because we should not be playing a player's wages of Cristiano's 400k a week to play for Napoli. And then who know for him to score 2 Champions League goals, because Napoli's got a hard group in that Champions League. They're not guaranteed to get out of that group.
Yeah, I think I love Ronaldo, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't absolutely love him.
I love him.
If he wants to stay, of course, I really hope he stays. But I do agree with you. Like, it feels like for his own personal gain, and you don't get to the position that he is without thinking that way, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Like, his career, like, he will see it as him versus Messi, and he would not like the idea of Messi getting a head start on him in terms of Champions League, obviously playing for PSG, and him having a season out. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way that he's a winner. Like, you can't knock that. What I will say about him, he seems really professional. Obviously, he was celebrating the goal at the weekend. You saw him celebrating against Liverpool. It does seem like he's been professional. He's come on off the bench and whatnot. He hasn't really played very well, let's be honest. But yeah, it's not been like he's stropping on the side or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I will say. I do think that he probably will end up staying for now.
Put in as well, Soph. But when I've watched Cristiano, though, I'm not discrediting Cristiano, but when I have seen him play this season, he hasn't played like he wants to play.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He hasn't played well. I'm not going to say that. Yeah,
come on. He literally passes the ball to the other opposition. He doesn't care where he's passing it to. That pre-season game, I went to it and I was so angry because of the way he performed. He literally he was walking. When he came on against Southampton, I thought we wasted a sub here. And that's not what you see of Cristiano, and it hurts you because I like Cristiano, but if he's gonna behave like that when he comes onto the pitch,
he's got to want it. Him. Do you think like it's a distraction at the minute though, because he could possibly go? And do you think once that transfer window ends and he knows he's staying regardless, like, do you think maybe that? Do you know what I mean? That must spur him on. It shouldn't be that way. Like you say, I don't like the idea of keeping someone who doesn't want to be there. But I'm just saying, if that is the case, maybe not having that distraction will help in terms of this season or half season, or however long he stays for. But yeah, I don't like the idea of having someone who doesn't want to be here. But at the same time, look, it's Ronaldo, and if we can keep him, of course, I would like to. But not if it's going to cause disruption to the dressing room or anything like that, because that's the last thing we need right now, of course. But yeah, Nat, what's your thoughts on it?
I am with you, Soph. I love Cristiano Ronaldo. I remember when he first came and I loved him, and I was 12 years old and I was crying when he left and all this, and all my life I've been thinking I can't wait for him to come back, and he was going to come back one day. But I feel like him even joining maybe was a distraction. And I'm not trying to, we were like this counter-attacking team, like, when we're talking about like Rashford, Sancho and Martial, and we're thinking about them running at the that's how we played. And now was looking like what Mais was saying, he's just walking, he's just passing it back, he can't really do it. And I think the way that we want to play doesn't suit him. He is, even though, like you say, he's doing it professionally and all this, I just think the way that he came out with "I'm leaving" was very unprofessional. I think he could have done it like straight away, as soon as the season ended, right, we're not in the Champions League, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I thought he was coming to Man United because
he loved it.
Yeah. And I think I've been sort of conned, mugs, and that's me, like you say. So I remember I'd done a podcast just when it was all like it was, and someone said it's all about beating Messi. It's all about beating Messi. And now for me, the fact that he's talking about Napoli, he's talking about these like little teams, I'm thinking, yeah, that's all it is about. It's just about him playing his group games so he can get maybe 3 or 4 goals, so he can further his thing about ahead of Messi. And yeah, that's his motivation now. It's not about a club or about, I won't even say it's about winning trophies. Yeah, obviously, team, you want to win trophies. For him, I think that's it now for him. And, he's at that stage of his career. He wants to be the best player and he doesn't want Messi to beat him. And like you say, I think he would take a personal accolades over anything the team does. And at the minute, I think where we're at as a club, as a team, we don't need that. We need everyone pulling in the same direction. And I mean, we're talking about Alanga, and he got that chance, and the boy ran his socks off. And I get it, it's different in age, but we're talking about Alanga and all this, and he doesn't need a loan. But I feel like they'll keep Alanga because they can mould him, they can think. He will do anything. He will, die for that badge. And that's the kind of players that I want. And I know it's, Ronaldo's the best player in the world. And I don't want people to twist my words, but I want to see that passion. I want you to play. And I think at Bournemouth, we didn't really see that. And we saw it when he was on the bench. And, yeah, he celebrated this and that. But he's thinking, let me beat Messi, let me beat Messi. And it hurts me, but he's the GOAT and just...
I think when we didn't get Champions League, we all kind of instantly thought, oh, that's it then for Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that it wasn't announced until July the 4th, we always say that, but the fact that we had that period where we all thought he was staying then because he hasn't come out and said anything. Why wait that long? Do you know what I mean? Like that was the frustrating thing. Like you said, that was the most unprofessional part of it. And the fact he's saying he's going to do an interview in 2 weeks, like that as well. But yeah, it's frustrating and it's not exactly a distraction. But all I mean is if it is that Ronaldo says, you know what, I would like to stay, and we do get the passionate Ronaldo, like you're saying, the one who's grafting and do you know what I mean? Of course, I'd love to keep him. I don't want to keep a Ronaldo who's going to be stroppy, who's going to walk around, who's not really going to... You know what I mean? Of course not. I don't want that. Like you say, we can spend a lot of money elsewhere. We won't know, of course. But, yeah. And that's the frustrating thing. Why leave it so late? Like, it is a circus that we'd rather not have. Alex, thank you so much for that super chat. He said, I got 500-1 for United to beat Liverpool and Man City home and away. Quarter of the way there. What do you think my chances are, ladies? You know what? That's a good bet, that. I hope you win it. I really hope you win it. I don't think that's obviously City home and away is a tough one, isn't it? But a lot of people would have said the same about Liverpool. That's a good thing about the Prem. Anybody can beat anybody depending on the day, depending on what form we're in. Do you know what I mean? So who knows? But I do hope that you win. Yeah. Alex, I think that's a good bet. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think looking at just like the way that Newcastle played against City, you can do it, especially at home. And I feel like if we're in a form or anything, so yeah, good luck in your bet.
Yeah, good luck, definitely. I hope you win for sure. Guys, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. I feel like we've gone on for ages. The last thing I just want to ask you about is Richarlison obviously was doing kick-ups the other day for Spurs. A lot of people were kicking off about it, saying that it's unsporting and whatnot. All I'm saying is, anyone remember the days of Ronaldinho, JJ Okocha, Neymar even? Like, for me, like I like that bit of the game. Maybe it's because I do a bit that myself. I don't know. I get it if you're losing, but yeah, I think it would have been worse if it was a Liverpool that player doing it, for example, against Bournemouth when they're 9-0 down. Like, do you know what I mean? I think that takes a piss, but I think like you can have a bit of fun with it, and I don't mind it. Like, what's your two thoughts on it? Let's round it off with that.
Amazing.
For me though, as much as you look and go, oh yeah, it's fun, but I did see in a kind of way it was a little bit disrespectful to that Forest team because they are a newly promoted side, and to do just kick-ups or like ordinary. And then I think what annoyed me more, not that it bothered me, but what it bothered me more when you seen on social media was like cry more.
Yeah,
I literally, yeah. I was literally like, what?
You don't care.
It's just the arrogance.
No, I love that.
I'm not a fan of the player. I'm probably because I didn't like the player. I just thought, nah.
Yeah.
If I was Brennan Johnson and if I was on the pitch, I would have done the exact same thing he done.
Yeah, I'm not even knocking Brendan Johnson. I think, you know what, like as an opposition, like that's part of the game. Like you will get pissed off and you will want to take players out. Like it is what it is. So Maximum Zaha players like that get kicked in the air on a weekly basis. Like of course as the defender, like you are gonna want to do that. And I'm not moaning at that. But also I'm not moaning at players who want to try out a skill, who want to do something. We've got Antony, so I think we've got to prepare for a bit of showboating, to be fair, and I'm excited for it. I know what you mean about Richarlison, but you know what, the cry more cracked me up because I just thought, you know what, like he does not give a toss, and I've got to respect it. I've got to respect it.
I would have been so annoyed.
I loved it.
Cry more, cheating. I would have gone mad, but I think in a kind of way, like I could see why Talk Sport said what they did about disrespect, because you would see. If you was a Forest fan, you would think that is disrespectful to do that with my club. Like we're a newly promoted team. We put on a good effort because they was lucky they didn't come out with a draw in that game. In my personal opinion.
Yeah, they played well, to be fair. And of course, if Richarlison starts to kick up against us, I fully expect the Butcher to come through and just absolutely clatter him. Like, I expect that to happen, and I'd love to see that. I'll be right. You know what I mean? Like, personally, I'd like to see that. Alex, I've been taken out quite a few times, had my ankles gone, but I deserved it. Like, that's my attitude. Like, I want to see flair players expressing themselves. I don't want it to be predictable. So yeah, I think players like Neymar, Richarlison, I can put in that bracket, but JJ Okocha, I remember him back in the day flicking it over 3 players' heads in the corner and whatnot. Like, you gotta want to see a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? And fully expect them to be clattered at the same time as well, of course. But yeah, so I'm a fan of it. I rated it, and especially the Twitter reply as well. I thought he doesn't care, and I've got to respect that.
I love that.
Class.
I loved it. I loved the cry more. I loved the fact, though. I love the fact he did it. I don't love the fact he did it. He did it. But I love the fact that they just cleared him out. That's when I thought, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
And if the guy, people were saying,
you would feel
give him a red card. Give him a red card. No, he deserved getting cleared out. So if he had got a red card, I would have said rescind that red card now. So for me, I love both of it. I love defenders coming in and clattering players, and I love flick ups and kicks and all this. And like you say, if you're gonna do it, you got to expect it, and it's about being strong and being able to take it. He took it, and that's it. It's a beautiful game.
I remember growing up, like, I'd always have, like, it was kind of a running thing, I'd always have the brightest boots. I remember one season, people in the chat might know these, that I had the yellow Mercurials, the R9 Vapors, and they're bright yellow with a bit of green at the back. And I used to wear them, and people were like, what on earth have you got on your feet? And like, defenders would be like, I hope you're expecting to get clattered wearing them, like, on my team and stuff, because that's just how it is. Like, if you're a flair player, like, defenders don't want you to be like showboating and showing skills because it shows them up, and you're going to expect to be clattered. It is what it is at grassroots level. Like, that starts there, and I don't blame Johnson for doing that. But like you say, I also appreciate Richarlison doing what he did as well. Ronaldinho was a good example, obviously passing with his back and stuff as well. Like, he was one of the most skillful players I've ever seen. Probably my favourite player other than Paul Scholes ever. I just love that part of the game. I can't knock it. I just love it. But ladies, thank you so much for joining me. As always, a great debate. I'm excited for the Leicester game, but I'm also a bit nervous after talking to you two about it now. I think it's kind of settling in that we're United. We don't quite know who's going to turn up, but hopefully we do turn up. Maisie, if you start off sharing where your channel is, obviously, and where people can find you on all socials as well.
Thanks for having me on, Soph. It's been a great discussion. My YouTube channel is Devils United, and my Twitter is at 2_ MUFC Maze.
Definitely go and make sure you follow Maze and obviously subscribe to the channel as well. Great content there. And of course, the lovely Nat. Nat, thank you so much. It's been great to have you on again. Let people know where they can find you on socials.
Yes, Natalie_17 on Twitter and NottyNattyB on Instagram. So yeah, check me out, and I do different content. And you'll see it popping up now and then when I decide.
Yeah, definitely. And especially in terms of the women's game, obviously, season starts very soon as well. Nat, I'm sure I'll be doing loads of content covering that. And of course, Maze as well. So obviously, not just for the men's, but for the women's as well. Definitely check out both of these two on socials. And of course, if you are new to Ladies in Red, please hit the subscribe button, hit a like on the video. And if I miss your comment, just drop a comment underneath. And I always check there afterwards as well. All that's left to say is have a lovely rest of your evening. Hopefully, Saints beat Chelsea. That would be nice. And obviously, yeah, come on United on Thursday. I think that's all that's left to say. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Take care.